Happy New Year, you all. Well, it's 2016 finally, even though it's the 4th of January, first Monday in the year, and you are watching A Reason Speak on SecularTv. My name is Sidney Winston. I'm also known as Ask an Atheist. I haven't planned much of a show today. It's a new one.
It's the 4th of January, first Monday in the year. And
well, at least I know that I'm
watching A Reason Speak on SecularTv.
There you go. So we know that the broadcast is working and the audio is working. What I don't have is my earphones in, and I'll take care of that right away. But like I said, I didn't really have much of a show planned. 2016 and yesterday with the Saudi embassy being firebombed in Iran, and who knows? I haven't even looked at the news today, and I don't even know. Maybe there's a bloody world war going on right now. I have no idea. But before I do that, I've got to have some coffee. I tell you something. I love my sleep, even though I don't get much of it. When I do get it, it's okay. It's good. But you know what? I'm having this sort of, I don't know. Sometimes when you dream, you don't know if it's reality or if you're in a dream. And I'm in this reality, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I got the show coming up, right? And I got the show coming up, a deadline, and it suddenly hits me. I got the show coming up, and all I fucking have is, oh yeah, it hits me over the head. Show's coming up, and all I have is a dial-up modem, and I'm panicking. But luckily I wake up, and my broadband is still alive and kicking. Hello, viewer. Very nice of you to join us. You're the only one that's important right now. Anybody who's watching this live really matters. You watch it later, you matter less. Just kidding. Don't get all crazy. But anyway, I do want to have this. Hang up interactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the link to the page, to the YouTube page. Okay, so if you go to the SecularTv YouTube channel, to this live broadcast, you will be able to join, because I'm putting the link in now, I think, and then I'm going to save it. So I am saving it. So all of you out there, you, everybody, just go click on the link and join. We've got 9 spots open. Well, I got one of them, right? Right. So what's happening in the world? Let's go check it out. So I tell you what, let's go on a journey through the BBC. How would you like that? Do you trust the BBC's news? I think I do. Well, put it this way, it's a good start. So what we'll do is I'm going to just get a BBC page going here. Bear with me while I do that, and then I'll share it with you. Don't go away. Right. So, if any of you are not familiar with the BBC News, I would like to introduce you to BBC News. Now, look what's happening today. Saudi allies join action against Iran. Oh my. Saudi Arabia's allies Bahrain, Sudan, and UAE act against Iran. Oh, look at that. So what happened in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, is they executed somebody. They executed this this delusional fuckface, some kind of another literalist Muslim or Shia Muslim or some fucking Muslim, you know. What's the fucking difference? But anyway, Saudi Arabia lops off the head of a Sunni Saudi Arabia, lops off the head of a Shia leader inside Saudi Arabia. And Iran, being Shia, flips. And Iranians, because they've set a precedent, they went into the Saudi fucking embassy and burnt it down, or whatever, took it over. It's like, this is the second time it's happened that the Iranians have gone into an embassy and burnt it down and destroyed diplomatic relations with the country whose embassy they destroyed. Second time now. This time it's with Saudi Arabia. Last time it was the US. The vicious circle is the triangles and it's starting to really piss me off, because Saudi Arabia is ISIS. No difference. Absolutely no difference between ISIS and their ideology and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and its ideology. No difference. However, the United States supports the Wahhabis, the Saudi Wahhabis, who are ISIS in Saudi Arabia. Well, ISIS ideology in Saudi Arabia. And the US hates ISIS. You know, the ones who behead people in public and then make a big drama out of it, and they send out videos. It's a big fucking circus. So we've got Sunni Saudi Arabia, who is Wahhabi, and then you got Sunni ISIS, who is Wahhabi, right? And you got the United States. Hey, sentient, welcome. You got the United States, and they both support Wahhabism on the one hand through Saudi Arabia, and they both fight and hate ISIS on the other hand, Wahhabism on the other hand through ISIS. Can somebody explain to me how President Barack Obama is thinking? Anyone? I'd like to welcome a guest. Let's see, Sentient. How you doing, man? I'm presenting you. Say hi if you like.
Hey, it's nice to be here. Thank you.
Nice to have you. Were you listening to what I was saying about this fucking hypocritical situation we find ourselves in with the Wahhabis?
Yeah, with the Sunni Wahhabis, we've always.
Yeah, but the Sunni are Wahhabis and ISIS are Wahhabis, and the United States supports the one side and attacks the other side.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of times the United States has gone for protection of Shias against Sunnis. So, I mean,
I know.
Yeah, we'll have a conflict. Whenever they're in a small war or dispute, we'll get involved.
Yeah, helping you understand this shit, man.
Well, a lot of times it's been, yeah, you're right, between Iran and Saudi Arabia. I mean, us picking one side and Russia picking the other. It's just a matter of what superpower is going to profit off of what side of the war.
Yeah. It's so convoluted now that it's you remember those maps they used to make when they were hunting the mafia, and you used to see those movies or whatever, and they used to have the, you know, those big maps with the charts and the flow charts, the head, the subhead, the this, that, and the other soldiers. They all had mapped out. Well, if you do that now with just countries and who they support and what they stand for, it's just a big fucking. It looks like spaghetti code or something, because it's.
Yeah, that'd be something that I would like to see. Any content creators out there.
It would be fucking mass hypocrisy. So what have you done so far this year?
Nothing so far.
What have you done so far this year?
To start back in school. Oh, well, I'm going to be in a. Oh, I haven't done anything on YouTube. I'm not a content creator. But I'm going to start back in school on the 19th.
On the 19th?
Oh, yeah.
Do you realize that on the 19th, which is a Tuesday?
Yeah.
So the 20th, that'll be the Wednesday. The following year, from the 20th, is your new president gets installed. Remember that.
Yeah, they started a little bit early with campaigning.
It's like so dumb. Up here, they had a campaign as well. That was 8 weeks or 3 weeks or something. I don't know. It wasn't very long.
I guess it's a good time to beef up their super PACs before they start getting into the actual elections, or actual debates closer to the election.
I want to ask you a question. Do you think that the next president of the United States is actually part of the gang that's running right now?
Unless it's Bernie Sanders, probably. All of them are empty suits and shills.
So it's going to be somebody else. Other than Bernie Sanders, it's not going to be any of the other ones.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty pro-establishment. Even Martin O'Malley's he's had his 15 seconds of fame at it.
Who?
Martin O'Malley.
I missed that 15 seconds somehow.
He's pretty much an establishment candidate for Democrats. He's tried to head himself and like with Bernie Sanders and Hillary. He wants to get himself up there and in the spotlight. He's just not a good candidate. Nobody's falling for it.
So he's got nothing to say, or what?
Not really. I mean, he plays the political game. He says that he'll get renewable energy by a certain time. He hasn't really said anything of substance.
Oh, the false promises. Elect me and I'll make magic happen. That type of politician.
Yeah, classic. So yeah, he's slimy.
But I'm still intrigued by this Sunni Shia issue and how it's going to work out.
I don't know. A lot of
times.
A lot of times there's. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I'm figuring, you got let's see, you got Saudi Arabia, who I think has got some connection to Pakistan. You got Pakistan has a nuclear bomb. You got Iran, who for sure is going to get a nuclear bomb because they've lied their way right to the point where they can do it. To the point where they have convinced everybody they're not going to do it, and we all know that they're going to do it. They're fucking liars. It's, they just are, and you will see. And once that happens, then you got to have Saudi Arabia's going to get a little bit nervous, and they're going to want to get their bomb from Pakistan. So it's going to get heated, I think.
Do you know what the IAEA is?
International Atomic Energy. What's it?
Yeah, the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Yes. Yeah, they're the guys who go in and inspect.
Yeah, and they're going to do that in Iran with this treaty. The treaty was a good idea because the IAEA be closely involved and be able to see pretty much everything they do as far as nuclear weapons and refining uranium. Like it's good for their energy, which energy independence, even nuclear, for any growing and industrializing nation is very important. Because we wouldn't be able to be where we are completely off of fossil fuels, gas emissions, things like that. But yeah, so nuclear energy is good for any developing country, and we shouldn't stop people from having it. Because we would hinder their growth, definitely, if we didn't allow them to have any kind of atomic energy. At least until we get better with other renewable energy sources, which will take time.
Yeah, but it's well, you know what? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm confident in the IAEA's ability to do what they got to do. So eventually, I think they will get whatever.
I understand that the treaty is not such a great one. I mean, they got to give like something like 25 days notice or something like that they're coming to inspect.
I haven't heard anything
Something
about that. But
ridiculous. I don't know. You know what? Yesterday, I was out and about, and I was walking next to a road, or standing next to a road by an intersection, and this really sleek Tesla comes up to a halt, and then the light turns green and off it goes. Man, that was a beautiful thing. It was nice lines to the car. It took off smoothly, silently.
yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Was it quiet?
It was quiet.
Yeah, but it was a pretty penny.
Oh, yeah, those things are $100,000. But that was one. Just think when all technology, no, I wouldn't say all technology. What I would imagine is that electric cars, like the Tesla and those that are going to be below them, are going to replace our cars, our sort of domestic cars that we drive, to go to work, to pick the kids up, this, that, the other. I think that's what's going to replace diesel and stuff like that. That's going to be, I guess, difficult to replace right away. I don't know what they're going to do for industry and stuff, industry and commerce. But I pretty much think that the days of going to fill up your car at the gas station, to do your town driving, I think those days are pretty numbered. Or the days of manufacturing those cars are pretty numbered. I think within the next few years it'll be all electric.
Yeah, I can't wait for these dinosaurs to die either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people will be going to like something more along the lines of power station, to where you would bring your electric car in between trips.
Well, yeah, they've got them. Yeah. They've got them now. I mean, they've obviously improved very, in a large way in order to sell these cars and have them useful, because if they can't keep an electric charge for long, then it's a waste of $100,000. But obviously they work. So I'd like to get Elon Musk as a guest on the show. How much chance do you think I have of achieving that?
About as much as God existing, I would say.
Well, that doesn't stop me from trying.
Yeah, you got like a point of a percentage there, but good luck.
No,
he would be he would be a good guest and a good addition to this conversation.
Oh, I'd like to actually have Elon Musk as an addition to SecularTv, the channel, our network.
Does he have a channel?
He owns Tesla. He owns the SpaceX.
Oh yeah, he should. He should.
If he doesn't have one, I'll make one up for him. He can count on me.
You'll be a troll account.
Yeah. So Elon, if you want to come on the show and say a few words and give us some encouragement as to how the world is going to look from your point of view, without oil, and when, we'd love to have you on.
I mean, obviously he's got his doubts because he wants to at least colonize parts of, I think, Mars. By a certain date.
Well, it's not Mars necessarily. It's just other planets, and Mars happens to be the one.
Yeah, or another. Because I mean, it's better to have the species in multiple places. That's a good
I love
idea.
his outlook and his progressive thinking, never looking back. Love it. And look at the dinosaur living that a lot of people live under on this planet.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got it for a certain amount of time, but it's just that the people who pretty much started this whole oil brigade is the same people that are kind of still doing it. They're keeping this big hype up to keep oil all together.
Well, BP, Shell, those big names.
The big companies.
Yeah, there's some big risk there if they start losing demand for the product. Real.
Yeah, I think that's why they're in trouble. Yeah,
because I mean, you figure how many people live off the oil industry in indirect ways or direct ways even. Millions, I'm sure, around the world.
We shouldn't be starting wars as an incentive to keep control of who buys and sells what oil that we're responsible for digging out of the ground.
Well, what are we going to fight over when Tesla cars are your little, your Toyota is your Tesla?
We'll be fighting much less. That's probably.
What's it going to be? What's it going to be to fight over? Nothing.
Well, Saudi Arabia won't have much of a chance in fighting with this if they stop having a need for their oil production.
There was a mention that Saudi Arabia, because of the depression in the oil prices now, that Saudi Arabia is starting to hit recession. I didn't hear that. Which again, everything that you bring up, it just adds another level of complexity to this whole mess.
Exactly. Yeah. Because a lot of the major oil producing countries like us and Russia and Saudi Arabia, we're large contenders over who buys and sells oil. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're directly connected to the trades as their common interest. But
yeah, what about China? China seems to be this huge kind of the elephant in the room everywhere.
Yeah, they've got their own problems with pollution and
yeah, they do too.
Maybe a little bit of population, but good luck to them. I don't think they'll be very good in a war if a lot of them are dying of lung malfunctions and problems. Yeah.
They don't seem to me to be a warring kind of a culture. Sure, they got armies and whatnot, and they got the numbers and they can train them, but they don't have that fervor like the Muslims do, where they scream in the streets and they fucking scream death to everybody who's not a Muslim. No, the Chinese don't do that.
Yeah, they have a lot of soldiers, but I don't know.
Yeah, but they're not national.
Their navy. Yeah, they don't seem to be fighting that much, except for with Japan, and they haven't even done that very recently.
And that's only on the national level. I mean, talking about the people. Mm-hmm. They don't go parading in the streets and demonstrating if somebody says something against China or Chinese culture or something like that. They don't care. We don't care. Nobody cares. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So tell me, what is it that you're doing at school?
I'm going to school for software engineering, but it's going well. I'm just taking core classes right now.
Oh yeah, which ones?
Just regular math and English. I'm going to be taking about 2 computer classes next semester, so got that to look up to.
So when do you get to the computer programming courses?
I'm starting next semester. They'll just be the basic starter program.
I see.
It's my second semester, so yeah, I'm still fresh.
Nice. Do you have a path outlined for the rest of your life yet?
No, I just want to work with data and evidence. Pretty much, I don't know. I need to find a little scientific niche to do research. So I'm just exploring my options.
I guess somebody's going to figure out a way to mine the correct data in order to work out statistics that are mind-blowing, that we are not even aware of. That's what we need. A whole new fresh look at everything.
We do pretty good. I mean, people do pretty good studies, especially scientists, for like the Pew Research Center. They have a lot of data to work off of, and they do an excellent job when they release reports on whatever. But I think we're okay as far as Pew Research Center sort of doing polls and using like crime statistics, things that are actual like data points that you can follow along and figure out, what's trending in our culture as far as employment opportunity and religiosity.
Tell me something. In your estimation, what percentage are? Well, let me ask you this in another way: is it a static percentage of the population of any country that is employed by the clergy, or that is employed in religion? In other words, if there was no religion, they wouldn't have a job.
You mean as far as them in government? Is that what?
No. I mean, just as far as people, people work for McDonald's, and people pump gas, and people are accountants, and people are, they have jobs. But what percentage of the population's jobs are paid by a religious organization? You could be the janitor, the cleaner, the teacher, the whatever. But you're still dependent on the church or the religion for your income.
That's true, but a lot of that is just service industry, which, it could be replaced unless it's specifically a clergyman. But yeah, all the, religious schools, they may as well could be secular schools. They're just the same version of a public school, but someone would pay for a different or maybe a higher education. I think a lot of religion just goes under the cloak.
Why does a higher education have to be analogous with a religious school?
It shouldn't, but the information is out there. You just need somebody to be able to set up an environment in which people can learn what they need to, so, by whatever subject they need to. I mean, yeah, it needs to be structured and
but who's responsible for that?
Material.
And who's responsible?
Anybody who wants to be a good teacher, or whoever has a passion for whatever they do to want to teach it to people. I think you could find plenty of qualified people and pay them a good amount. I mean, don't feel like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay them well enough to be comfortable and still continue teaching people.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Another thing that pisses me off is you got your teachers who are dedicated. I see them. I live near schools, and I see them all the time. I got neighbors who are teachers, and they spend a lot of their time in their profession, and they get paid relatively little compared to what other people get paid who don't put in nearly as much effort into their careers. Like me. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, those are stupid little problems, really. My mind is still wrapped around Shia and Sunni issues.
Yeah.
Because I love that stuff, man. I want to see what's going to happen. Because those guys have no problem just hacking each other to pieces.
It's true. Like 80 to 90% of them attacking is pretty much against each other. So yeah, it's a lot of ideological things. Whether or not we set up a framework of dictators and then topple them over to see who would take up the power back, I think we had a play in that. But definitely, even when terrible dictators were in place, those kinds of religious extremists were at least held at bay by the dictator himself over who would have what amount of power.
Yeah, well, here you go. Here's some information. Oops. It doesn't look very good. Stop that.
Yeah. As far as teachers, my last math teacher, at least, she was very dedicated to her job. She was, it does take a lot of work to keep track of hundreds of students, grade thousands of papers, all in this tiny crunch of a couple of weeks. That takes dedication.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to do that for every class consistently is probably a very taxing job.
Right.
And not be really paid that much for it. It is a damn shame. We can't keep up a very good, strong economy and have a powerful working class if they're all out there thinking the world is flat and the Earth was created in 7,000 years. I don't think it's so much as the teachers as much as the way that we get at least students and young people to be able to objectively think about what they and what they're being told. So, yeah, there's a lot of problems with our education, but one of the primary ones is the lack of teaching people how to think.
That's always been the problem throughout history. But I got some comparative figures from the BBC website on here between Iran and Saudi Arabia. So you got 80 million people in Iran versus 27 million people in Saudi Arabia. What you got? Army size. There's 545,000 soldiers versus in Iran versus 230,000 in Saudi Arabia. Now the defense spending, look at that figure. Iran, $6.3 billion. That's a lot. But look at Saudi Arabia, $56 billion on its defense spending.
Yeah, if anything, that tells you the state of their economy right now. If it takes that much money to keep your defense spending up, you know you're going sort of a
I think
recession. Which is
they're
what
all
he's
smiling. Let them all smile.
Yeah, the people are probably making less money, but the government's probably scamming it off the top as always.
Oh, no doubt.
That is a nice theocracy they have over there.
There's the whole problem right there. In the year 632, that's when this fucking issue, this divide, this schism happened. 632, there's a dispute after the death of the Prophet Muhammad over who should lead the Muslim community. And because of that dispute, people die every single day.
Yeah, it's been going on for over 1,000 years.
I'm just fucking...
But yeah, that is a very depressing
my head can't take shit like that, man. Unbelievable. You know, other than talking about the Muslims today, I mean, what's his name? Shias and the Muslims, Shias and the Sunnis.
Don't forget the Kurds, who are pretty much trapped in the middle of the conflict.
Well, they are, but again, that's another hypocrisy. There's no reason why the Kurds should just be given their own little Kurdistan or whatever they want to call it.
From Vice News reports, if you judge that accurate, they're meant to be fair and accurate. The Kurds seem to be rather secular and rather peaceful, which is why they're not accepted in either Sunni or Shia ideologies.
Oh.
I mean, maybe they do embrace more Western values. The only way to see, I thought, to give them their little Kurdistan, divide up Iran a little bit by their religion instead of by whatever borders and boundaries we want, and kind of let them exist as small entities until maybe they change and have their what do you call it?
Oh well, okay.
Religious changes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here's something funny. This dude here lives in China. Was living in China, so he's a Scottish mine worker who living in Kyrgyzstan, whatever. He compared Kyrgyzstan's national dish to a horse's genitalia on Facebook, and now they're going to deport him from the country.
I don't know why he is that far away.
Michael McFeet from Abernethy in Scotland was said to have been held after posting a picture of Kyrgyz co-workers queuing for a chuchak horse meat sausage. He deleted the go. Again. Sorry. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh man,
let me get this straight. It's a horse. It's just sausage made out of a horse. It's one of their national dishes.
Yeah, I haven't finished sharing. Maybe I should just finish sharing this. Okay. So it says, look at this. In his Facebook post on the 31st of December, Mr. McFeet posted a picture of colleagues at the Kumtor gold mine enjoying what he described as a fantastic hogmanay feast. The post added, the Kurgs people queuing out of the door for their special delicacy, the horse's penis. Radio Azatic said that Mr. McFeet's post had caused a lot of discontent and resentment on the part of local staff, who demanded respect for the traditions of the people of Kyrgyzstan, as well as an apology from the mine's management company.
I hope that started as a joke, but it just got big because it was popular. It's the last part of a horse. It's all yours, man. It's a freaking delicacy.
I kicked the guy out of the country for that. Oh, fuck, that's hilarious. Well, not for that guy, but for me. Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, maybe.
Remember Kyrgyzstan? That doesn't seem to be a very friendly country.
No, it doesn't seem.
Kyrgyzstan. That's going to be the fucking brunt of many jokes. Kyrgyzstan. The Kyrgyzstan's horse's penis as the national delicacy. That's funny. It is horse meat anyway. I mean, who eats horse meat to start off with?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe they don't have that much cattle.
I'm speechless. It's fucking horse meat.
Yeah, after we make so many.
Okay, it's the horse meat. It's the national fucking dish. How can you not make fun of it? How? Jesus Christ. So what else is happening? You know what? Other than me, I think I'm having a pretty good start to the year, but no one else seems to be having a seriously good start to this year. My neighbor across the street got robbed on the first of the year, and I've got family who are ill in hospital, and other people who I've been on hangouts with are complaining about things that haven't gone right. How about you? How are things going?
So far, so good. Just, yeah, nothing's really gone on yet as far as past New Year's. Yeah, same old, same old.
Yeah. So tell me something. I want to get your feedback, your audio survey about you and what you see secular TV as. Because you actually saw. How did you come into this hangout? You must have searched secular TV somehow, right?
Yeah, I've been a subscriber for a good amount of time.
Exactly.
Most of the time, yeah, you'll see me in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just there to be a half troll chat.
That's fine. That's good.
Maybe,
nice.
maybe produce a few good one-liners.
There you go. So what do you think of the concept of having secular TV, and does it matter?
I like it. I like a lot of the people who are on secular TV who use it as a platform to be content creators.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows that you watch sort of over and above others?
On secular TV alone?
Mm-hmm.
Or
yeah.
Well, right now I watch a lot of Pimp Monk.
Yeah, we've been around for a year now, right?
Yeah, you guys have been around long.
Yeah.
At least
there was this other outfit, Secular Syndicate. I don't know if you remember them. They tried to start up a the same sort of idea that we've got going here, but on a website, sort of have everything sort of emanating from the website, which is not a bad idea, I suppose. However, they seem to have tanked. They don't seem to be around anymore. And I remember back when they started, there was a big hype. They actually went on they made a hangout, and they slagged the way we were doing things and the way our system here is set up to get our content out. But a year later, here we are. We're sitting here. YouTube, secular TVs are still ongoing. As you can see, here I am. I'm on it. If you go do a search on to secular syndicate somewhere on the internet, you're probably not going to find anything. I tried searching the other day. I couldn't. I came up with some strange website that didn't make any sense. So,
did the foxhole atheist Randy? Did he have a part to play in the video's development, or maybe the hangout or live stream? That's what you're talking about, as far as that quality?
No. The foxhole atheist. He's involved. He's the head of this place, of Secular TV. He's the guy who, him and Mike and Albany, they co-founded the network. Just their concept, their idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been doing well. As far as what I watch here, I watch some design flaws, kind of like those guys.
Yeah. They're fairly you know, I like this show. It appears every week, just about. I think I missed once or twice, but we pretty much appear every week, and I think design flaws as well every week, or every whatever.
Yeah, you guys, you know, you make good content for secular TV, so I think it as a channel is probably going to do fine.
We're actually actively looking for new content creators to fill up a lot of slots that we have. You know, there's 24 hours in a day, right? This is the internet. It's open 24 hours all over the world. I think every second that we're not broadcasting live content is a waste of a second. That's the way I think about it.
Yeah, so long as all the channels don't get maybe aligned in views and biases in ways that a lot of times the regular sort of mainstream media, if you have it coming from a lot of different sources, but still be technically the same channel source, I think that would be a great idea.
Well, diverse content and diverse secular points of view to a secular community is essentially what we're aiming to achieve.
Yeah,
and by the lack of theists that are jumping into these hangouts, I think we're doing well.
Yeah, well, these channels are here, but yeah, I don't think they're too extremely popular. At least right now, there'll be probably a steady stream of people, from drunken peasants to pimp monk to sketchy white dude. People will start, you know, leafing off of, I think, main channels, maybe start coming into smaller communities like this, if they're looking for more secular content.
The thing is, the important thing is that it doesn't matter who does what, as long as there's a secular focus and it's en masse. Because a lot of people are atheists in the closet. A lot of people, and come on out and play. Come see what life is like, with no guilt. You know, there's no guilt burdening you. It's very cool. Not that there's no problems, believe me, but there's no guilt. No religious, shitty, stupid fucking guilt. Is there anything you need to plug? Are you working on anything that you'd like the world to know about?
Not at the moment, no. I sort of just joined this at the spree of the moment. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm not a content creator. Or if I could do this sort of as a long term.
Right.
It'd be a nice idea.
Do you have a point of view? You have a point of view on stuff, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm a secular humanist, agnostic atheist like the rest of us. But yeah, I mean, my view towards what in particular?
Well, I don't know your background.
It's just.
Are you converted or deconverted, or are you just born atheist?
I grew up on a pretty much a Baptist, Christian, Southern, trying to fit all the words I need to.
Okay.
Pretty much a small town Baptist church with, regular sermon, decent gatherings and stuff, and I grew up right before my teenage years, pretty much in that community. I had questions like everyone else did, and
Yeah.
right now, of course, I'm an atheist. I don't mind telling people that I'm an atheist, and I wasn't shy about expressing my worldview probably back then either.
Yeah, I'm a proud atheist, very proud.
Yeah, pretty much everyone knows about it. Most people really doesn't factor that much into how they. I have a decent character, so they learn. They probably see more atheists about, but a lot of times, yeah, this is pretty much, as far as being on the internet, it's sometimes better than being in sort of the environment that you're growing up or you're currently living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are a lot more atheists on here than you would probably find around. Yeah, it's a good escape, and that's pretty much why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had a nice little Christian background,
Oh.
and it pretty much, I kept thinking about it, and poles emerged, and faction and fiction and pretty much non-fiction sort of met their match. I figured out there was all pretty much.
So
yeah,
did you figure it out on your own?
Yeah, I figured it out on my own.
And did you share it with anyone?
Yeah, it was pretty much it. I figured it out in high school, which I guess is a good time because then you have a lot of people to provoke.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I found a lot of at least agnostic or not completely religious people to sort of have a group with. So yeah, ever since then I found atheists and intelligent people.
No, it's too bad that you had that indoctrination when you were young.
Yeah, but it actually sort of wore off on my mother. That she became an atheist or at least agnostic before I did.
Mm.
We had moved to a new place, and she was like, "Oh, do you?" I was like, "Oh, I guess we need to go to church because it's Sunday."
Right.
It's we're not going. We hadn't been going for that amount of time, but I just thought about it. Thought about going to the local church. Ended up instead of going, I just ended up, pondering this deity's existence or God's existence. And
by watching football,
my mother really posed the question, what if he doesn't exist? Well, it was more subtle than that. She had been having complications with people that went there. Maybe she got vibes that these people were somewhat, maybe delusional or thinking in ways that she didn't find rational.
right.
She sort of explained that to me, like, oh, I'm having problems with, being in that sort of environment where you're around these people. I mean, what if it's not true? It's pretty much the best way that she put it. And I went to my room and I gave it some thought.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that was left hanging was pretty much the belief in hell. That's pretty much the last thing that comes to your mind after you're just about to let it go. You're like, oh, well, what about hell? And it was so easy for me to determine that didn't exist that I was pretty much convinced from then on, oh, well, that's pretty much made up just like the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you perceive others who are still believers?
For a while, I was sort of like an anti-theist. I really didn't like their ideas. Well, I still don't like their ideas, but I didn't like the people for being, unfairly indoctrinated into the religion. And whether or not I took it out on the people or on their ideas, it got a little complicated. Eventually, I sort of simmered down. And now I don't mind so much as they're not actively going out and indoctrinating people in public or in society. I don't mind like Jehovah's Witnesses, but if you get a group of people in cities or rural areas, acting this way in public, I would definitely want to intervene. just, as to clarify and maybe not change their minds, but change the people that are exposed to them in public.
Right.
They need to see
What we were talking about earlier about the Torva makes a very good point. He or she in the side chat. We were talking about why do religious schools, have a higher level of education. And I'll read it. It correlates that private schools do typically get a better education. I think this may be because though the private schools deny access, I think this may be because the private schools deny access to low-income people and people with learning disabilities. Is that something that you can agree with? Or?
Yeah, to an extent I would. But I grew up in a public school, so I don't have very much insight as to what a private school would sort of be like. But
if it's a private religious school, I would imagine that there'd be a plan available for those with low income that are, want to go to that same religious school or in the community. I'm pretty sure there'd be that type of a contingency plan where the wealthy people of the community donate to some kind of a fund to support the education of those that are less fortunate in the community.
Yeah, that makes sense, but see why wealthy people would want to do that.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I don't see that they necessarily deny access to low-income people. Yes, but take I don't know. I just can't imagine a Jewish school denying access to a Jewish kid because his parents can't afford to send a kid to I just don't see it.
Probably a lot of that has to do with the school itself, whether or not they want to accept these people on an administrative level. That's probably what it, what determines it. Well, yeah, I don't think we could blanket all the schools one way or the other.
There's usually a community tied up with, you don't just walk into school and you don't know the people. Everybody knows everybody because they're from the community.
Yeah, and the fact that it costs money is an incentive to sort of not choose that as an option. Because of course, you're going to be wanting to save money. Public schools are very.
I went to a private school, a private school, elementary school, Jewish school, and no Jewish kid when I was going to school was denied a place at the school, no matter who or what the parents were. As far as I can remember, anyway.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a correlation between. I mean, of course, they're probably going to be getting a very good education. Statistics. I'll bring up the Pew Research data on people's beliefs correlating with their education, and I think Jewish people are doing that rather well.
Well, I tell you, I'll give you the experience that I have from the Jewish school that. I grew up, and of course I went off to a public high school, but I kept in touch in the community with my friends who stayed at the private school. Now, a lot of them went off to become very highly educated and respected people in the medical. There's surgeons and doctors and lawyers and architects. Like seriously well-educated people who've done very well for themselves from just my class, my year of graduation. However, in the public school that I went into, a couple of people became dentists and lawyers and whatnot. But as far as I can tell, no one's sort of gone out there and made the killing. Like done something like phenomenal. However, at the Jewish school, there's this one guy who was just a brilliant kid, unbelievably brilliant kid. Went off and became a doctor, and then went and became, because he's so brilliant, he became a specialist. And he became a specialist in, and I can't remember, I think it's some kind of a lung. He was a lung doctor, a lung specialist. And he was married with a child, and it turns out that his wife. He had the child was a young kid, like 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't really know exactly, but something like that. And his wife developed this disease that he was a specialist on, and it was incurable. So what the future of this woman was, a slow death, a slow terminal illness that's going to kill her, and painful and all this kind of stuff. So what this guy did with his family, they must have sat down and did a lot of praying and a lot of talking, and then he injected all 3 of them with something, and it killed all 3 of them, him, his wife, and his kid. So even though there were all this brilliance comes out of the private school, you got this issue on the side here where this brilliant surgeon doctor kid who was throughout high school he was like just a little nerdy kid who was brilliant. It turns out that he ends up his legacy as a murderer. He kills his wife, his kid, and himself. He's a murderer.
Yeah, that is an extraordinary story, not in a good way.
It's an extraordinary story, but it makes it even more it makes me more cynical when I look at a turnaround and I know this kid, and I remember people talking about this kid all the way through high school, how brilliant he was, and they look up to him and this and the other. And in the end, what is it? Nothing. It's bullshit. It's all a lie.
I'm sure after all that, it really wouldn't matter how brilliant or, up until then, what his contributions were. But yeah, to do something like that, that's insane.
And it was something like 20 years ago. So he wasn't that far into his career, but it was budding. He was doing very well. But the emotional baggage or burden, whatever it was, got to him. I don't know. But anyway, we've been running for just over an hour, and I think that that's enough time to be shooting the shit with really nothing, no scoops, no world-breaking announcements here today, I'm afraid. You can look forward to SecularTv, the revival of SecularTv, more content, more exposure. Mike is back. Mike, the neo-atheist Phelps, is back. So all is good. All is now good at SecularTv. Sentient Science, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you dropping in and sharing your opinions. For everybody else, you're welcome. To everybody else, we'll see you next week. Just remember that you're watching Sidney Winston, who is also Ask an Atheist, on the show Reason Speak on SecularTv. There's so much to remember. Please show your support by liking, reviewing, and or donating. Have a great week. Stay secular. And see you then.